This free step-by-step video comes to you directly from Haynes. You can complete more than 200 jobs on this vehicle when you purchase the complete Haynes online manual at haynes.com.
Coolant pump. Open the driver's door and pull the bonnet release lever twice. Fully raise the bonnet. Using the locking wheel bolt adapter where necessary, slacken each of the wheel bolts half a turn. As there is limited clearance beneath the vehicle, unless you have access to a special low workshop jack, use pieces of wood as ramps to increase the clearance so that a regular jack can be used. Position the workshop jack head under the rear of the subframe with a piece of wood or rubber to spread the load. Raise the vehicle until the tyres are clear of the ground. Support the vehicle with an axle stand under the sill jacking points, then remove the jack. Fully unscrew the bolts and remove the wheel. The engine under tray is secured by various fasteners. Some of these may be torque screws, and some may have an hexagonal head. Undo the fasteners and manoeuvre the engine under tray from place. With the engine completely cold, rotate the expansion tank filler cap anti-clockwise and remove it. Undo the two retaining nuts, release the clip and remove the air intake duct. Unclip the wiring harness from the air filter cover, slacken the air outlet duct clamp, undo the retaining bolt, then pull the air cleaner assembly upwards from the mountings. Disconnect any wiring plugs as the assembly is withdrawn. Unclip the bonnet release cable from the slam panel. Undo the 3 bolts securing the upper edge of the bumper assembly and centre brace. Prise up the centre pin and lever out the plastic expansion rivet at the right-hand side of the slam panel and from the left-hand side. Undo the 5 torque screws at the right and left-hand sides, then remove the bonnet slam panel. Unclip the rubber sealing strip from the top of the radiator. Squeeze together the retaining clips, disconnect the electric cooling fan wiring plug, then release the wiring harness from the fan shroud. Unclip the coolant bypass hose from the shroud. Undo and remove the tubular bolt at the right and left-hand end of the shroud. The fan shroud is secured to the radiator by a clip each side. Prise out the clip slightly, lift the shroud and carefully manoeuvre it from place. Take care not to damage any of the radiator cooling fins. Where fitted, slacken the bleed screw at the top of the expansion tank. Place a suitable container beneath the radiator. Prise out the wire locking clip slightly, then pull the top hose from the radiator. Prise out the wire clip. Disconnect the coolant pump hose at the front of the engine and allow the coolant to drain into the container. Access is limited, so disconnecting the hose is shown here with the radiator removed. When the coolant has finished draining, check the condition of the pipe O-ring seals and renew if necessary. Press the hose connections fully onto the pipes at the coolant pump and top of the radiator. There should be an audible click when they engage. Remove the drain container from beneath the vehicle. Pull the rubber weather strip from the bulkhead panel at the rear of the engine compartment. Undo the 2 plastic nuts. Rotate the fasteners 90 degrees anti-clockwise and remove the left-hand scuttle panel. Slacken the negative lead clamp nut and with a twisting motion, pull the clamp from the battery negative terminal. Depress the clip and disconnect the battery sensor wiring plug. Position the clamp to one side and insulate the battery terminal with a rubber hose to prevent accidental reconnection. The wheel arch liner is secured by various fasteners. Begin by removing the screws at the rear lower edge, followed by the ones at the front lower edge, and the ones in the wheel arch aperture. Some of the fasteners are plastic rivets. Prise out the centre pin, then pull out the rivet. Undo the plastic nuts and manoeuvre the liner from the wheel arch. Undo the 2 bolts securing the charge air pipe to the sump and unclip the fuel vent pipe. Prise out the wire clip on both sides and disconnect the air pipe from the intercooler. Prise out the wire clip securing the air pipe to the turbocharger. Seen here with the air pipe on the bench. The wire clip must be prised out on both sides. As the clip is expanded, it should lock in the released position. Prior to refitting the pipe, push the clips at each end back into the normal position. Manoeuvre the pipe from place. The belt cover is secured by 4 plastic expansion rivets. Working from above and below, prise out the centre pins, lever out the expansion rivets, and remove the cover from the wheel arch aperture. If the drive belt is to be reused, mark the running direction of the belt before removal. Rotate the belt tensioner clockwise and lock it in place using a 4mm diameter rod. With the tensioner locked in position, remove the belt. Pull the plastic engine cover upwards from its mountings. Undo the screw and remove the right-hand side partition wall. Squeeze together the release button each side and disconnect the purge valve pipe. Secure the pipe to one side to improve access. Unclip the wiring harness from the top of the intake manifold, then prise out the rubber cap, undo the nut, and disconnect the battery positive lead from the alternator terminal. Slide out the grey locking tab and disconnect the wiring plug from the alternator. Move the wiring to one side. To create sufficient clearance, carefully cut the plastic tabs from the right-hand end of the intake manifold. Undo and remove the alternator lower mounting bolt and the upper mounting bolt. Note the belt cover support bracket under the upper bolt. With the bolts removed, carefully manoeuvre the alternator from place. Carefully refit the cooling fan shroud to the radiator, ensuring the lower mountings engage correctly on both sides. Refit and tighten the tubular bolts at the top of the shroud each side. Clip the top hose and bypass hose into place at the top of the shroud. Secure the wiring harness to the shroud with cable ties, then securely reconnect the fan wiring plug. Undo the 4 retaining bolts and withdraw the coolant pump from the right-hand end of the engine. Clean the coolant pump bracket mating face. If the original pump is to be refitted, remove the old seal, then apply a 2mm diameter bead of suitable sealant to the groove in the pump. The sealing bead is bonded to the mating face of new coolant pumps. Manoeuvre the pump into place, then insert the retaining bolts and tighten them to the specified torque. In order to ease refitting, use a suitable socket and bolt to pull the lower mounting adjustment sleeve outwards slightly. When the lower mounting bolt is finally tightened, the sleeve will be pulled into the correct position. Manoeuvre the alternator into position. Then insert the upper mounting bolt along with the belt cover bracket. Insert the lower mounting bolt, then tighten both mounting bolts to their specified torque setting. Reconnect the wiring plug to the alternator and press in the grey retaining clip. Reconnect the battery positive lead to the alternator terminal, then refit the nut and tighten it securely. Don't forget to refit the rubber cap. Clip the wiring harness back into place on the manifold and push the pipe firmly onto the purge valve port. Refit the partition wall and secure it with the screw. Press the engine cover firmly down onto its mountings. Locate the belt around the pulleys, ensuring the belt ribs locate correctly in the pulley grooves. If the original belt is being refitted, observe the direction of rotation marking. Withdraw the locking bolt or rod and allow the tensioner to rotate anti-clockwise, tensioning the belt. Refit the belt cover, then insert the plastic expansion rivets, pressing the centre pins to lock the rivets in place. Manoeuvre the charge air pipe into place, then press the ends of the pipe onto the turbocharger and intercooler ports. Ensure the wire clips secure the pipes. Normally, an audible click can be heard when the clips locate in the port's grooves. Refit the liner to the wheel arch, then secure it with the various fasteners. Insert the plastic expansion rivet to its original location, then press in the centre pin to secure it. Don't forget the screws at the front and rear lower edges of the liner. Manoeuvre the tray into position under the vehicle, then insert and tighten the fasteners. Locate the wheel on the hub, then insert and lightly tighten the retaining bolts. Raise the vehicle and remove the axle stands, then lower the vehicle to the ground. Tighten the bolts to the specified torque. Manoeuvre the slam panel back into position, then insert and tighten the right-hand bolts. Insert the plastic rivet and firmly press in the centre pin. Insert and tighten the bolts at the left-hand end of the panel, then insert and secure the plastic rivet. Refit the centre brace bolt, then insert the bolts at the upper edge of the bumper. Tighten the bolts securely. Clip the bonnet release cable into place on the panel. Connect the air outlet duct to the air cleaner housing, then press the housing down into its mountings. Clip the wiring harness into place and securely tighten the retaining bolt. Locate the air intake duct over the mounting studs and clip it into the air cleaner housing. Refit and tighten the duct retaining nuts. Remove the insulation. Reconnect the battery sensor wiring plug, then press the negative lead clamp down over the battery negative terminal. Tighten the retaining nut securely. Refit the scuttle panel, then secure it with the plastic nuts and fasteners, then refit the rubber weather strip to the bulkhead panel. Turn on the ignition without starting the engine and set the heater control to maximum temperature with the fan speed set to low. This opens the heating valves. Mini recommends that the cooling system is refilled using vacuum filling equipment. However, if vacuum filling equipment is not available, add a 50-50 mixture of antifreeze and water to bring the level up to the max mark, visible through the expansion tank filler neck. Once the level in the expansion tank starts to rise, squeeze the radiator top and bottom hoses to expel any trapped air in the system. Once all the air is expelled, top up the coolant level to the maximum mark in the expansion tank, then refit and tighten the expansion tank cap and bleed screw. These vehicles are fitted with a water-cooled turbocharger and an auxiliary coolant pump, so an additional bleeding procedure is now necessary. Connect a battery charger to the jump start points in the engine compartment and switch on the charger. With the ignition turned on, illuminate the headlights and set them to the dipped beams. The headlights must be illuminated to prevent the ignition system from automatically switching off. Ensure the driving experience switch is not set to Eco Pro, then hold down the accelerator pedal for 10 seconds. The pump venting procedure should now start and lasts for approximately 12 minutes. Do not open the expansion tank cap during this procedure. Turn off the headlights and the ignition. Top up the expansion tank to the maximum mark and refit the expansion tank cap. Don't forget to disconnect the charger. Start the engine and run it until it reaches normal operating temperature. Then stop the engine and allow it to cool. Check for leaks, particularly around disturbed components. Check the coolant level in the expansion tank and top up if necessary. Note that the system must be cold before an accurate level is indicated in the expansion tank.